Welcome to the Totally Unreal Book Club Podcast, or TUBC for short. This podcast is in association with and comprised of the Voices of Anarchy Improv comedy group, and we are here to discuss our favorite totally unreal books, movies, video games, etc. on a weekly basis.
This book club is totally unreal.
Hello.
That was disappointing.
I'm your host, Willwood, and at the table today we have, for our very special 15th episode, starting to my left, Caitlin Dawkins.
No matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
Janina Nanamana.
That's Jalynaw to you. Thank you very much.
Asian.
No. No. Try that again.
Azmattu.
There's a snake in my boot.
And Dithy Irish.
No.
It's actually David Berla, but I'll let it slide.
David Hasselhoff.
Dahi English.
Thank you.
Oh, sure. That's the one that you correct.
And I'm Will Wood again.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. But because it is our 15th episode, we have a very special guest joining us today. Gina.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. I believe you have an appointment.
I do. I just wanted to come say hi, but I might go take a nap first. But I'll go open the door for her, if that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
And here she comes, our special guest, all the way from episode 3, Wolves Underground, the author of that book. It's Paige Turner.
Are we starting?
Yeah, we've actually already started.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, you're late.
I apologize. I don't know. I couldn't. There was traffic.
That's fair.
Well, I guess. Anyway, you'd think that you'd be more, punctual, You did get my note that I have your brother, right? I'm just kidding.
Low blow.
Is he though?
That's very concerning. But all right, I did not get that note. I got the one about cocaine, though, so...
Did you bring it?
We didn't send you a note about cocaine.
Those darn crows
Why
again.
am I here?
Wait, hold on. What those darn... Wait, so you... I'm sorry, I'm confused. Is Wolves Underground based on your own life's true story?
Oh, I just see crows everywhere. They tell me things.
Do you see crows right now?
Yes, there's one right on your head. Oh, that he pooped on you. I'm so sorry.
That's perfect.
So Dahi,
Yes?
I guess we're having an interview with Miss Turner here.
Yeah, and you're talking to me.
Yes, it seems like the appropriate thing for me to do at the moment. Hi, Asia.
What's up, Will?
Paige,
How's it going?
speaking of the book based on reality, we gotta ask the whole thing with your brother. That's crazy. Is he okay now?
Oh, yes, he's relatively fine. I believe he's in the hospital right now.
So your parents tortured him?
Oh, no, I think he just went there himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Voluntary.
They were holding him quite,
But when you
terribly.
mean hospital, you mean like a medical hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. No, he's not crazy. That's me.
Right.
So you're a...
I don't want to be somewhere.
So you are aware of your mental
State.
handicap.
Oh, no.
Well, I've been told many times since the release of my novel that I probably had problems, and I just sort of agreed with them.
You never questioned? Got a second opinion?
I mean, things mess you up when your parents kidnap your brother and then force you to write novels your whole life, so...
True, but with your name, you seem destined to be an author. Anything else would be a disappointment, in my opinion.
If I may, a novel. You've only written one that I've
She's
seen.
only published one.
Have you read more novels?
I have, and unfortunately, they were burned
Oh.
By you?
by my parents. It was a very
Really?
dark time. I'd rather not speak of it.
All right.
Okay.
Tell me about your parents.
Yeah. I'm actually really interested about this.
They're so awful. They used to lock me into a room and tie my brother up in front of me. It was awful.
So was it like a kinky thing that they're
Yeah, was
kinda-
there a camera in the room or?
Did they use paddles?
No, they super glued a pen to my hand. And I wasn't allowed to take it off.
Oh man, you still have a pen on your hand.
the
I
heck?
just noticed.
Talk about handwriting.
So you must have been a primary member of the Pen 15 Club.
Those are dark memories.
Frequenting penisland.com. Ah, high school. That was the thing.
Oh, yes, I never went there.
So where did your parents grow up?
Well, not in England, despite how I might sound to you. They grew up in Oklahoma.
Because
Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah, I was
Where the
going to
wind comes
say.
sweeping down the plains?
I was going to ask you about that accent because I don't even think you've been to Europe.
No. This is just a defense mechanism.
I see. So
That
it's,
makes sense.
basically, it's like a screw you to Oklahoma. Is
Of course.
what? Yeah.
Yes, and my parents.
Ah.
Fuck you. Thank you.
Fuck you, thank you.
That should be a T-shirt. You should make that.
On the front it says fuck you, and the back it says thank you, but in
Yes.
very tiny writing.
Ooh. I like that.
I'd buy that.
I'd buy that too.
Yeah.
You should get on that.
Patent that. Under my name, thank you.
Oh, did you say patent that?
Patent.
Well, I didn't say my own name, but yes, it's not patent that, it's patent.
Patent.
No, patent. That's how the British say it.
It's patently obvious.
Thank you.
I'm
See,
gonna
he
go patent
understands.
later.
Patent by numbers?
Face patent.
See, I didn't have much contact with people. Sometimes I just read words instead of know how to say them, so you sound it out. You know how it is.
How did you learn that accent?
Well, I just assumed that's how people spoke in other places, of course.
Ah, yes.
So does your Will? But does your brother have an English accent then?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
Is that because
course
he's
not.
dead?
That's a silly question.
Oh, right?
No, he's in the hospital.
Oh, yeah,
So we
right.
covered that.
Yes, but when was the last time you checked on him? Are you certain that he is currently alive at this moment?
Well, I believe I spoke on the phone with him yesterday.
You believe you did, but you're not sure that you did.
No longer am I. No.
You know, it could have been like your dad or your mom. Just throwing that out there.
Or the interviewer of this podcast.
Oh dear.
Actually, I want to ask, what does your brother do? What is he up to when he's not stuck in the hospital?
I
Or being
believe
kidnapped.
I believe he paints very detailed portraits.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of flowers. Portrait flowers
So he painted
with faces
flowers.
on them.
He does patent flowers.
He likes painted flowers.
Oh, interesting.
I feel like we might be a little disrespectful to you at the moment, but we'll try to ramp that up as we continue.
Appreciated?
I want to ask about the drugs.
Right.
yeah.
The cocaine? Where is it, by the way?
No, not. I mean, the drugs in the book. There's
The
a lot
Caw.
of them. The Caw.
Oh, yes, of
And
course.
Justice, the main character, named after your last name, by the way, which was. We can talk about that at another point, but she does a lot of drugs, and the descriptions are very vivid. So, is that also based on real life?
Of course. Well, sort of. It was what I imagined it must be. That's why I'm so excited to try today.
Oh, so you've never actually tried?
Of course not. My parents kept me in a room my whole life.
Well, I thought maybe they fed it to you to
Did
feed
they
the
keep you
creative
in a room
spark.
your whole life, or did you just sort of trip that memory up?
I'm not entirely sure. Memories are completely fallible.
And who is your favorite Transformer?
I've never seen that show, unfortunately.
Really, I
strange.
find that interesting because you went to such great detail in the book to mention the difference between an Autobot transforming and a Decepticon transforming, yet you've never seen the show.
I've never seen it because I spent most of my life, of course, in a room, but I was on a very popular social media site the whole time called Twitter, and I found this fantastic, they call it Stan, I'm not entirely sure, but all they tweeted about was the Transformers, and I found it very interesting, so I just sort of copied that into my book.
Can I just mention very quickly that spending your life on Twitter does not count as being locked in a room. That's by choice.
No, all I had was Twitter. On a phone, that's it.
How old are you?
How old do I look?
Legal?
It's a trap. Beautiful. That's how old you look.
Do you know the difference between being committed for a murder and being convicted of a murder? Because in the finale of your book, you wrote that your brother, big spoilers for everybody who hasn't read the book yet. We've all read the book, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the end of the book, of course, if you heard episode 3, you would know if you haven't read the book. But anyway, and I have many questions about the book, and we'll get to Fat Pratt in a minute here. But in the end of the book, you wrote that your brother, before he bursts into crows when he is the judge of the trial, says that nobody can be committed for the crime of my murder 3 times triple jeopardy. Now, were you confused, or was it like nobody can be committed to an insane asylum for the crime of my murder 3 times?
Well, honestly, when you're writing a book and you're being forced to do it because your pen is super glued to your hand, you're not really paying attention to the words that you're using
Because
necessarily.
you're part of the Pen 15 club.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it just sort of...
Dahi and I are members too.
It's sort of hard to proofread these things, and honestly, I have no editor. I just published the book.
You published the book.
Oh,
Yes,
self-publishing.
of course.
Is that why the book is so large? Did you just...
Our book's not normally that size.
No, they're not.
That was my mistake then. I'm so sorry.
Here's my copy of Hans's Hands just to show you what size a book normally is. This is a normal.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're that small. How are you supposed to be able to read the letters? Oh,
You just do it.
my goodness.
Which is interesting because your book is very large, but the font size is relatively the same as a normal book. So I'm not really sure what that question comes from. Do you live inside the book?
No,
Is that-
well, you're supposed to sort of sit on the book when you're reading it and lean forward, so really close, right?
Immerse yourself in the...
Yes,
literally
exactly.
immerse
He
yourself
understands.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
in the book.
Have you ever used it as a shelter? Because I get the feeling you might.
Every now and then, maybe.
So it's like a mobile home for you.
I don't know how mobile it is. It's pretty heavy.
Well, books are meant to be put on display, right? So you sort
You
of
made sure
display
you-
it, and
yeah.
it's interactive, but you can sort of.
How did you
close.
get it into the chapters there? How did you convince them to take up 3 displays for one book?
Oh, I just broke in at night.
That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying.
So wait, Thomas. So you broke in, and you're telling me so you could break into a place, but you couldn't break out of the room that you're in?
Yeah, how did you break
So-
into a Chapters or a Barnes & Noble when you were trapped in your
Wait
bedroom?
a second.
Well, I showed my parents the book because they visit me 3 times a day to give me food, which I never eat, by the way, which is why I'm quite thin. However, I was able to, get out because I'm like, look, I'm going to go get this book published now, when it just so happens to be about 2 a.m. So by the time I made it to the bookstore, well, they were obviously closed because apparently they aren't open 24/7, unfortunately.
So why did you go back to the room
Just
after?
to clarify,
I never did.
You're not actually published. You just broke into chapters and put your book inside.
Yes, well, I assume that must mean they thought it was a published book that they received shipment of. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so can I ask then, how did you push through and get a YouTube original from that?
Yeah, on YouTube Red.
Well, someone actually saw me breaking in that day, and they said, "Whoa, what's that? It's huge!" And I was like, "Oh, it's my novel, it's my book." And they're like, "That's not really a novel." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And it's like, "That is exactly what would be the perfect fodder for a YouTube original."
Okay.
And the rest is history.
Okay, you were just scouted. Got it.
Was
Yes.
this guy a hobo? Because
Well, have you not seen the series? Because he definitely was.
So
totally see.
you got Chris. I guess you didn't, but they got Chris Pratt to play Justice Turner. That must have been a really big moment for you.
Do you know who Chris Pratt is?
Through various sources, they have told me that he was quite famous, I believe. So
Is one of those sources Twitter?
perhaps, yes. But, I'm not actually sure how many times I'm allowed to say a name like Twitter on your podcast, so...
You can do whatever the hell you want here. Nobody listens.
That's very unfortunate. I thought I was coming onto something quite big here. I have Chris Pratt on my series, and you didn't have any listeners.
Why is he credited as Fat Pratt?
Oh, that was his decision.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just have to have Chris Pratt on the episode and ask him ourselves.
Is that the next one? I'll listen.
Have you listened to the podcast up to this point?
No.
Not even the episode about your book?
No.
Okay, fair
All
enough.
right.
How did you like the book, though?
It was heavy.
Quite.
Yeah,
Quite
in
because of the size?
theme
Yes.
and
Okay, that's understandable.
There were crows.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Crows.
Would you
I
like to
cried.
elaborate a little more than that, Asia?
Dahi, do you have anything interesting to say?
Well, I thought it was interesting that you chose to have crows represent the wolves of your mind.
Yes.
Of course, yes. Well, they are the wolves of my mind in reality as well, so...
Mm-hmm.
And what part of the book was underground?
I was, while writing it.
So technically,
So your room was in a
Are you
bunker?
the wolf?
No, I was underground. I believe we've established that the crows are the wolves.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Have
lost.
you seen a wolf or a crow before?
I see crows all the time. Like I said, there's one on your head right now.
Yeah, describe it for me.
It's sort of a rainbow of blues, and it's kind of shimmery, and yet it's kind of got wingy things. They flutter. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Are you describing a butterfly?
Yeah, butterfly.
No. It's a crow.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure the butterflies don't have those piercing red eyes.
Neither do crows.
yeah.
Okay. Bringing it back to the book, I wanted to ask, because there was a fan theory going around for a while about what the maps meant. The theory was that it would lead you to where your brother would have been killed, but it was never confirmed. Can you confirm if that's the case, or if there was something else you were going for with those treasure maps?
Yeah, can you confirm the kill?
My brother is still alive, of course, and
And you're sure about this?
probably yes.
So that's like 70%?
Yeah, I'd say a hard 72.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, a
72.
hard 72.
A hard
extra
72.
2% on that.
Yes.
That's like
But
2% milk.
yeah, is that a thing?
I'd say it's more heavy cream.
But sorry, you should answer
Sorry,
Dottie's
yes.
question.
To
He gets
answer your
very feral
question.
if you don't.
Oh dear. Oh dear, feral. Okay. Well, in that case, I should let you know that those were leading to where I was hoping to find him should I fail, and someone else would find my book and perhaps rescue my brother, or at least find his corpse. Preferably freshly murdered, not been rotting and decaying for a while.
Right. And
As that's my worst fear, of course.
The best corpse is a fresh corpse.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for understanding that. Yes.
Yeah.
so, as the old adage or story goes, your parents took your brother and said they would murder him if you didn't become a published author.
Yes. A successful published author.
But as we've just figured out, you just broke into the bookstores and put your book there.
Yes,
Now,
let's keep that part quiet there.
how
because
much
I
money
don't
have
want-
you made from this book?
Oh, quite a fair amount.
Off the one book?
Yes. Because then, of course, they photocopied it for me.
Who is who is they?
The hobo, of course. The one who picked up the series and made a YouTube original. Yes, he
had-
helped me.
The hobo had access to a giant photocopier.
Yes.
Well, he had access to Chris Pratt, so
There's
Chris
one
Pratt is a
well-connected
giant
hobo.
photocopier?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him when he's on the podcast.
I believe he may have gone to Chris Pratt's to photocopy it. I'm not entirely sure on that bit. I was sort of
Typically,
like...
by gone to Chris Pratt's, you mean like broken into his house? Gone to Chris Pratt's?
Typically, celebrities do have huge Xeroxes in their huge mansions. So that does make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I cannot
Learn something new.
confirm nor deny that, but...
Excellent.
Are you sure it was a hobo? Because as well as Chris Pratt, they also had Johnny Depp. Was that who
And
it
he
was,
does look like a hobo
perchance?
sometimes.
Yeah, Johnny Depp
Oh.
played Stefan the Crowman.
Yes.
Well, he did say his name was Johnny, but I'm not entirely sure about the last name. Names are not really my forte, as you can probably tell. I couldn't even come up with a last name for myself. I mean, my own character. It's not myself.
Have you ever been to Mars?
Oh, I wish. Oh, goodness. Do they do flights there?
Yes, but
Yeah,
they're very expensive.
Oh, one day. That's what I'll do. I'll go
Use
to
that
Mars.
publisher Scratch.
What?
Scratch means money.
Oh, I thought you were making a reference to something that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, to money.
Oh, yes, that thing. I have a lot of that now, but I don't know.
Now, do you keep your money in a bank?
No, I have wads of cash under my bed. Oh, I'm sorry, not
okay.
under my bed. It's in my closet. Please don't look under my
What's
bed.
your address?
I thought this was to remain anonymous.
Oh yeah, we'll cut it out in
yeah,
post.
It's
Don't
just
worry about it.
between friends.
We're your friends, right?
Your book was
Only
amazing.
the crows are my friends.
I'm a crow.
No, there's a crow on your head, though.
Tell him.
The crow is actually controlling him. That's what's happening right now. So he is the crow.
they
Listen
are
to
one.
him.
Well, my future address will be on Mars, so that's all I'm going to disclose for you today.
Well, all right.
Okay.
So I've got to ask about the tweets, the gangs, and
Right.
their aggressive dancing.
Oh, my
Where did
goodness.
that come from?
Aggressive dancing is my favorite form of dancing. Alongside, lamppost dancing.
Lamppost.
Not what I heard, but okay.
Tell me more about lamppost dancing, because that sounds fun.
Lamppost dancing, yes. It's like there's a lamp post and you circle around it. Lamppost dancing.
Does this take place in a club or?
How is
I'm not sure as I've never been to one.
the lamppost made of brass?
Perhaps.
Does
Although
the
usually
lamp-
it's quite silver in appearance.
Does the lamp post have any sort of light source on it?
Is that not what a lamp is?
Okay, it is. We just thought that
Okay,
maybe you were talking about
okay.
something else. We were hoping. How old are you again?
How old do I look?
Right, legal. Okay.
So you do a lot of aggressive dancing in your bedroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a bedroom or is it a bunker?
Well, It's basically my bedroom. I live there. I lived there for many years.
And it's underground.
And it is underground, that's
And
correct.
there was a lamp post in
Yes.
your bedroom. Okay.
Okay.
That's the only other
They
piece
need
of
to
furniture there,
light it
besides,
up
of
if
course,
There's no natural light, I would assume.
the paper,
in this
which is...
bunker, yeah.
Can I ask, when you aggressively dance, do you do it alone or do you do it with a partner?
I do it with the crows.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
My tweets, of course. Yes.
Is it a pleasurable experience?
Dahi, please. Answer his question.
I mean, I suppose.
All right.
Mostly I just throw my head around, roll around, and then jump
Okay,
around.
all right.
Okay.
So the tweets. You spent a lot of time on Twitter. Is that where you got the idea to call them tweets? The gangs on Mars.
Well, no, Twitter's called Twitter, and tweets are called tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing you've said contradicts anything
When
I've
you
asked.
make a post on Twitter, it's called a tweet.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah. Did you not?
well, that's
Did you know that?
revolutionary. I didn't even know that. I came up with that myself.
Why did you call the gangs tweets?
Because they're tweets.
Okay.
It was the obvious name for what they were called. They were there. They're a gang, and it's a tweet. It just came to me one day.
There's no arguing with that.
No.
So the crows in the book, they are also the little rainbow winged creatures with red eyes?
Yes, of course. I believe I never described them, but I sort of assumed everyone knew what they looked like.
There was the rainbow at one point, so
Yes.
Yeah.
And can you also describe for me now a raven?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you certainly wrote about it in the book.
Oh yes, Raven.
No, were you just hoping that we would be raving about your book? Is that?
Oh, that's not what he said? Okay, Raven, raving. I'm sorry, my accent makes it difficult to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So talk to me about Future Paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk
know
to me
the-
about Future Paper. You know, you wrote about it, so tell me about it.
Is it different from past paper?
You did read the book, right?
Can you answer my question, please?
Okay.
Hold on a second. Asia, have you read the book?
No.
Huh, okay, that's fine. Anyway, yeah, Future Paper. Go.
Right, so the Future Paper, well, that was my own idea, of course. I mostly spent my time yelling at the book, of course. That's how you write it. You know, you have...
That's how you wrote it. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Well,
So,
I had
you
the pen
just-
in my hand and I was writing, but of course I was yelling. I thought, well, this is no fun.
Let's combine the two.
You can't just have the pen in your hand and write it, and then it's just so boring. So I thought, well, what if I just yelled at the paper and it influenced my essence? And then I told, of course, my crow friends about this, and they said, well, maybe if you include a circuit in there, it'll work whenever you get to that part. You know, because when you read things, you sort of follow it with your finger along the line. So when you reach certain points, it'll claw at you just the way that I imagined it. It was perfect. It was a perfect idea.
Can you
I'm
say
quite proud
perfect
of
one
it.
more time?
Perfect.
Great. Ooh,
Why are you laughing?
I just thought of something funny.
Oh, okay.
different.
I'm laughing at
No.
the way you said perfect.
Well, that's rather rude of you.
I just want to ask. So with the Future Paper that you actually used for this book, did you patent it?
I pagined it. Yes. Paige
Pagined.
Turnered it.
Oh, okay.
And who is Paige Turner?
Me?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
but who is Paige Turner?
Me.
Okay. All right.
I want to talk a bit about The Ring.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
was
That
a
movie's
huge...
terrifying. Oh.
No, the ring in the book, Asia.
Right.
The one you didn't read.
Yeah.
The one that contains both a crow and a raven.
And, well, it's shaped. It's
Well,
like
she was the
shape,
ring, of
but
course.
it contains
On one side there's a
Justice's
crow, on the other
ashes.
side there's a raven.
Yeah, it's the Craven ring, but it
Craven.
turns out it contains Justice's ashes.
Right.
Yes. Well, she was the ring.
Yeah.
I believe
The whole
that's
time.
fairly
No,
obvious,
it
no?
contains the ashes of her dead brother.
No.
No.
I
It
thought the
contains her
brother
own
lived.
ashes.
No, the brother lived, and it turned out that Justice was dead the whole time.
And
Oh,
she was in
right.
the ring as part of her ashes were
Did
in the
you
ring.
read the book?
A while ago, yeah.
Asia gets a free pass, but I believe since you're the
Asia
host.
usually does get a free pass.
I do. And
I was
make
talking
sure
about
I
the
use
country,
it.
but yeah.
It's
Actually,
a continent, actually.
Oh boy.
I'm a little bit unclear. Was Justice Turner a male or a female character? Because it was she was played by Chris Pratt, but as we just said now, she was dead the whole time. So
Right, so while I was writing, of course, I was writing with myself in mind, so I suppose that would be female. However, I don't mind if the character's rather ambiguous on that front.
okay.
Yeah, of course. Chris
Okay.
Pratt was
so
great.
that's why Fat
Pratt.
Pratt is fine.
Yes, of
Thing.
course. Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I had no preconceptions of it.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
I was
It's
certainly
sort
not
of
going to
up
do it.
Up to the reader's interpretation.
Now,
Yes, of
how
course.
come only one episode of the series came out and then no more were ever made?
Well, you might have to ask my friend, of course, the
The hobo.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny. Yes, Johnny
the
the
hobo,
hobo.
Jony Depp.
Johnny Depp the hobo.
Okay, we'll
I'm not
tweet
sure
at him and
Depp was
ask
his
him.
last name.
Well, we'll just have Johnny Depp on the podcast at the same time. We have Chris Pratt. It'll be fun.
Okay, yeah.
Fat Pratt and Johnny, my hobo. Okay, that sounds perfect.
Yeah, that's how we'll bill them.
Yeah.
So
I actually think we could get Fat Pratt and Johnny the Hobo on the podcast.
I think that'll be fantastic if you could.
Well, that's very exciting.
So then with the YouTube Red Show, because clearly I haven't seen that either. Was it
Oh,
just
nobody's seen anything on YouTube Red.
it is coveted. So did they was that pilot, was that like how many chapters of your book, or was it the whole book that the pilot was?
Well, they didn't even get to Mars
Oh,
in
no.
the first one.
I believe it
First
was about
episode.
half of the first chapter.
Well, that's quite a bit. I mean, the book only has 3 chapters.
Yes, however, they didn't get into Mars until the second third of the novel.
Right. Well, I mean, I think you're a little confused. That's when they discovered it was Mars. But she gets transported to Mars right after the crows show up, after everybody's missing from the town.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, why was everybody missing from the town?
Well, I didn't know how to write other people, so
Because of your limited social interactions.
Have you ever heard of
I
David
see.
D. Magic?
I believe he may have added me on Twitter, but I'm not entirely
I
sure.
just reminded me because he doesn't know how to write other people either.
Oh, okay. So we're quite
You should
similar
get
then.
Together. Yeah.
Should
yeah,
set me
you
up
would
with him.
definitely
I
not
mean-
get along.
No.
Anyway. Dahi, are you planning on getting really mad and throwing this guest out like last time?
No, I didn't get a tattoo this time, so I'm
Oh.
good. Yeah.
Oh, you got a
The-
tattoo.
Well, he's been
don't worry
removing
about
it
it.
slowly.
Oh,
It's-
sounds painful.
It's still on my chin. Yeah.
Oh! I thought that was acne.
Oh.
I didn't want to mention it.
So speaking of acne, what was up with the final court scene in the book? When the giant raven man walked in, like the cock of the walk.
Oh,
I
yes.
just remember that, the way you wrote that.
Well, is that not how to describe a raven crowman? The crowman, the raven, coming into a scene? No?
Right,
Cocking
but
the walk.
the
There.
reason why I
It
bring
rhymes.
this, yes. So the reason I bring this up is twofold. One, because you wrote cock, and then two, is because earlier you failed to describe what a raven was to me, and I was just bringing up another point when you wrote about a raven.
Right.
So what is a raven,
It's a crow. A raven and a crow are the same thing, of course.
and what is a butterfly?
I don't know. A crow?
I'm going to show you a couple of pictures on my phone here right now, and you tell me what they are. And this,
Oh, of course, that's a chicken.
No. This is a chicken.
Oh. Well, okay. Well, that's life-changing. I was picturing the wrong thing the whole time.
And what's this?
You've showed her a very personal picture you might want to reconsider.
Yeah, but there's a butterfly on it. What is this?
I believe that's your finger.
Yep, sure, let's go with that.
That's a... Yeah.
And describe the size of my finger.
Well, you must just look at yourself, and then you'll know.
Now, did that butterfly consent? Because
these are not the important questions right now.
These are important questions.
Yeah, I feel it is important.
Well, I have been informed that now instead of turning into a giant raven, they actually turn into a giant butterfly, since that's what I've been seeing this whole time. However, that's fine. I'm still going to continue calling them crows.
Why
yes.
did you...
So does it turn into a giant butterfly?
I don't understand the question.
Your finger.
Yes. Is it a caterpillar waiting to blossom out of its cocoon?
He's better at asking the questions rather
So
than
there's
answering
no
them.
difference between a raven and a crow in your mind, or a butterfly.
No, of course not. Well, a butterfly. I suppose that's what it was now this whole time.
And why did you name the drugs caw?
Because butterflies go caw, caw.
Oh my.
Okay. I have a fun idea. What if can we place a call to your brother and talk to him?
I suppose so, yes. Well, he's quite well in the hospital, I believe. I'm 72% sure.
Okay, let's do an ad break, and then we'll do that right when we come back.
Okay.
How about you go and...
I do have to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And I believe there's mirrors in there.
Okay, well, I was
I'm
going to
quite
say, why
intrigued.
don't you go grab your phone and figure out his phone number, but you can do that in the shitter, is fine. Bye.
Bye! Well, she just left in a rush.
Oh, where the hell did you come from?
Did you have a nice nap?
Yeah, I was
What happened
napping.
with a comb
I
like
thought I
that?
told you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't realize you just literally laid down on my
Passed
floor, took a nap.
Well, there's a bench out there, so...
All right. Well, before you go, for whatever reason you said you had to go, I can't be bothered to remember. How about you do the ad break with us before you leave?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what you've been talking about, but I'll try my best, I guess.
It never matters. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by penisland.com. Check it out.
Also brought to you by a new YouTube Red original series, Fat Pratt and Johnny the Hobo.
Oh, and also brought to you by crows. They are not ravens
Or butterflies.
or butterflies.
Or wolves.
And brought to you by Twitter, with only 240 characters and 420 characters.
This episode is also brought to you by Best Corpses, Fresh Corpses. Get your corpses!
This episode is also brought to you by writing a book through yelling at it. Ah! And this episode is also brought to you by www.page.justice.turner.slash_undergroundbunker.me. And if you go to that website and enter in promo code tubcpodcast,
You'll see a live feed of the underground bunker.
And some clips of her lamp dancing.
and they'll send you a hat. And I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, and I'll tell you how Steve, myself, and Caitlin are all guests on the Pointless Discussions podcast over on the Magic Squirrel Network. If you search for Pointless Discussions on your favorite podcast service, you can check out Mark and Paul's show, which we did an interview with them, and we also helped them out with their long-running improv series, Planet H. So that episode will be coming out this upcoming Tuesday. So when you're listening to this podcast, you can run over there and check that out whenever that Tuesday comes or was already there. So now that we're done the ad break, and Gina's already left, I guess she just didn't say anything.
She's kind of mean. This is the first time I met her, and she just kind of...
Is this really the first time you've ever met her?
Yeah, so the impression I'm getting from her is not the best. Not gonna lie.
There's some girl just sleeping outside on the bench outside. Should I wake her up?
She a narco?
I was about to say that was fast.
Can you describe her accurately?
She's got hair,
That's pretty accurate.
and it feels like her name is jalynaw.
That's
it's
also accurate.
Okay, well, I was just sort of gauging her atmosphere there, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, she'll be fine. So now, as promised, let's give your brother a call.
Right. Well,
Insert phone sound effect here, Will. Ring, ring, ding-a-ling. And then also put like a click of like somebody picking up the phone. No, I'll put that in. Thanks. Hello?
Jonathan, it's so nice to see you. Well, hear you. I suppose I'm not actually seeing you. I'm just imagining you in my mind's eye, as usual. How goes it?
Who is this?
It's your sister. It's me. Your
Oh,
sister.
right. What? Can you can that dang accent? It's stupid.
Okay, well, you know how it is. I have to keep up a public
Oh,
appearance.
no. Put it back on. Put it back on.
Okay, sorry.
What are you bugging me about?
Well, see, I'm on this podcast right now, and they love the whole drama about, how I wrote the book, and they wanted to speak to you, I believe. Is that not correct? No one's saying anything.
I'm in incredible pain.
That's okay. How's it going, Jonathan, other than the pain?
It still hurts.
Alrighty.
What hurts? What happened to you?
My stab wounds
You were stabbed?
Stab.
Wow.
Jesus.
by my parents.
They're a little
Wow.
knifey, aren't they?
Well, if my dang sister would write a book a little more better, I might not have been stabbed.
I feel you need to pick up a book sometimes, buddy.
If I picked up her book, I could have used it as a weapon, but I can't lift it.
So
But you could live in it.
It's true. Or use it as a bandage.
I have to go. Bye.
Bye. Feel
Well,
better.
No.
Oh.
Bye. I love you.
I wanted to ask about the parents. I feel
Yeah.
that's the most intriguing thing so far.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, hi.
Okay, hi. Yeah, that's...
Can we ask you about
I just
your
passed
parents?
out from the stabbing.
Oh, it's okay. Just, click the button, get some more morphine. So, yeah, what about your parents? The whole kidnapping and tying you up in a non-kinky way.
You should really call the cops. Like, I'm just saying.
You could write a book.
Okay. Insert another phone sound effect here, Will, because we're about to call the cops. Make another clicking sound as if the cops just picked up.
Hello? It's the it's the cops.
Did you dial 911 or 119?
Wait a
I'm
second.
gonna help you.
What's going on here? We've got a call within a call on the podcast.
Have you never had a group call before?
Is that a three-way?
Jonathan has initiated a three-way with his sister and a police officer.
Excuse me, you're insulting the police force.
Hello.
What's the problem?
I was asked to call the police. My sister's friends asked me to call them. I was stabbed.
It happens every day, punk. Get used to it.
My sister doesn't know what a crow is.
It's those colorful things that fly around like flutter like. You know the
No,
ones.
I had it right.
Okay, I'm ending all of these calls.
Bye, Jonathan. I love you.
Go hell.
Wow.
He was so sweet, wasn't he?
Still some bitterness there.
Well, he had just been stabbed, so I don't really blame him. On the other hand, I blame him.
But I'm just slightly confused about the cop.
Yeah, I hope that they
Like-
didn't track that back to this podcast.
I think that's illegal, what we did.
Is that how cops usually act? I feel like I might have written
I
them
feel
correctly.
like this guy's like.
Can
hit
you
a body
describe a
somewhere.
cop for me, please?
Oh, yeah.
Miss
Well, I
Turner?
believe we just had one on the phone. He was quite brash. Very authoritative.
Yeah, but can you describe what a cop looks like?
Well, I originally would have said...
It's a trick question. They could be anybody.
Oh.
I could be a cop.
So then it could be a
might
crow.
Are you a cop?
I mean a butterfly.
What?
Maybe. You don't know.
I mean, I could be a cop.
Are you a ghost?
I could be a ghost cop.
Oh, man.
I could be a prop.
So at the end of the book, it turns out that Justice was dead all along.
Right. She was the
Spoiler
ring.
alert.
Right. What was the inspiration for that? We already mentioned it earlier in this podcast.
I feel
What
that's
was
a
the
metaphor,
inspiration
too.
for that?
Of course. Well, I'm basically dead in my own life, of course. I'm dead inside.
Oh.
Is that an inside joke?
But is that, would you think, again,
Well, we
haven't
are
read the
inside.
book, but when you just said that, Justice is dead, would you take that as something from your own life? Not you being dead inside, but the fact that there hasn't been any justice for your parents having all this abuse on you and your brother, and then you just
Well, yes, because
personified that in a book?
in a way, yes, because my parents have gotten off scot-free, as we like to say.
Ah,
That's a saying, correct?
Is your dad's name Scott?
Yes, and he's free.
And as a follow-up to Asia's question, are you dead serious that that's what you think a crow looks like?
Yes, of course. Well,
Okay.
you never showed me a photo of a crow.
Here it is.
Oh, well, that looks like the thing of nightmares. It's so dark. How crude.
Wait, but you repeatedly referred to them as a murder of crows.
Yes, that's what they're referred to. Yes? No?
Okay.
No? Yes?
I'm leaving this topic for another topic. Go ahead, anyone.
So, the idea of triple jeopardy, where did that come from?
Oh, I just wanted to have a word that sounded similar to triple murder, and triple jeopardy just rolled off the tongue, you know? Triple murder, triple jeopardy.
So did it relate to the actual legal concept of double jeopardy, or did it relate to the actual game show concept of double jeopardy?
Well, I've seen once a Transformer story where they also were playing a game called Jeopardy. So I figured, well, I'll just do that 3 times, the same way
And
as
which
as a
episode
runner.
was that from?
Oh, I believe it was a fan-written story.
Oh.
oh, those.
Crossover fanfic.
Between Jeopardy and the Transformers.
Yeah, is it AU
It's
Jeopardy?
very good.
We should probably... yeah, I'd like to review that fanfic.
Yeah.
I would say no.
I think I've read that fanfic. It's on Archive of Our Own.
I wrote it.
I'm a huge fan. Wow.
Oh, cool. Would you like me to sign your book?
Yes, please. Oh, but I didn't bring it because it's rather large, and I didn't realize that most books were much smaller.
So where can people get your book for those who have not read it?
Well, sometimes I sneak them into chapters, so just keep your eyes open.
Okay, so it's like an
It'll
Easter
be hard
egg
to
hunt.
miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It's like an Easter egg hunt if the Easter egg was right in front of your face. It's like an Easter egg hunt if the Easter egg was the Statue of Liberty and you were on Staten Island.
Well, they
Fair
do say, you know, it's sometimes you miss the most obvious things.
Like what a crow looks like.
Yes, perhaps. I'll admit that might have been my mistake.
Perhaps.
Perhaps, yes.
I think your brother's still alive?
I believe so. We were just on call with him, no?
Yeah, we tracked that call.
Oh, perfect.
He sounded rather stabbed.
Yes, well,
Freshly stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe you understand the gravity of the whole situation with my parents, so
The best stab wound is a fresh stab wound.
Yeah.
just like corpse.
Everything's fresh.
Do you understand how gravity...
Exciting!
Well, never mind then.
No, I just thought of a fun idea, like for if you want to promote, you know, your stuff, right? Maybe write more things. Like you should sneak one of your books in, and then like hide in the book, so when the store opens...
Surprise!
Yeah.
Oh, that's a glorious plan.
I think that would be so much fun to see.
Oh my goodness.
Make sure someone's filming it.
Oh,
I think someone may call the cops. I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh, the
let's not
cops
do
are
that
quite
again.
friendly, though. Did you not hear him?
Let's
He was
not do
so
that.
friendly just then, so pleasant, just like
he
my brother.
was.
Most pleasant
You
of people.
just said he was super brash.
Yeah.
Very brash, that's what that means. Pleasant and brash are like synonyms, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Like
So-
salt and pepper.
I'd like to know how did you learn the English language? Like, where did you get these words?
Well, my parents did teach me that.
Okay.
Yes.
So they have
Yeah,
one
not very
redeeming
well.
quality.
Oh. Well, I suppose if you look at that as redeeming, then yes.
Well, this has been very... And if... before you leave, which will be very soon...
How unfortunate.
well...
We still never had the cocaine.
And you're...
It's in the mail.
Oh, okay.
That was not a note from us. But before you leave, can you just describe a little bit of Oklahoma for me and what it was like growing up there?
Well, there
And-
were 4 walls.
Yeah, but the town of Oklahoma.
Well, I mostly saw it at night.
Right, but you did leave. Okay, yeah.
Yes, now I live in a high-rise in New York. I can see the Statue of Liberty from there.
So it must
from
be
a-
on Staten Island.
from
You
a
know what you
bunker
should
to
do?
a
You should
high-rise.
replace the torch with a copy of your book, or the book that the Statue of Liberty holds a book. Just replace that
Yeah.
book with your book.
They're about
That's
the
a
same
grand
size.
idea. Grand.
Well, you were so used to your books being burned, you should just do that on the torch.
Oh, and
Set
then it
it
would be a
ablaze.
book burning thing. Oh, that's
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're connected.
A marketing tactic would be to just include a torch with every copy of your book.
Oh, I think I should do that for the second version.
Or a crow.
Oh, there's a second version coming.
Yes, well, I have to change all the crows to butterflies now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So would it still be Wolves Underground, or would the title change as well?
No, I'll keep the title the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is a wolf?
The demons of my mind.
Right, but if you were to
poetic.
physically describe the demons of your mind.
Or draw it out.
They're the butterflies.
Okay.
Yeah, the butterflies represent the wolves. We've been through this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what a dog is?
Caw, caw.
And I think we're good to let you head home and relax and sort of decompress and
Perfect. Shall I wake the person up sleeping outside when I leave, or?
Nah.
Nah.
She's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, well, this has been great. I'll go find that cocaine and I'll come back, okay?
don't come back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, until next time.
No,
No.
There won't be
next
a next time.
Bye!
Bye.
You see, yeah.
Thank you all for listening to the Totally Unreal Book Club podcast, our weekly review podcast in association with the Voices of Anarchy, of which everyone here, but most certainly not Paige Turner, who is not even here anymore, is also a member. You can check us out at www.voicesofanarchy.com or on Twitter at voicesanarchy. You can find the podcast on podcast services around the globe, and you can support the podcast on patreon.com/tubcpodcast. That's TUBC podcast. On Twitter and Instagram at Tubc Podcast, and you can literally just find us everywhere else at Tubc Podcast. Please, if you enjoy the podcast, take a moment to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and a written review. It really helps out the podcast, and we appreciate it. I want to thank once again the panel this week, and you can follow each of us on our personal Twitters at...
caitlionroar.
azmattu.
H&F official.
Hey guys, sorry, oh my god, I just realized that you guys were filming a podcast this whole time and I wasn't even here.
Shut
oh my
up,
God.
give me your Twitter.
Jalynaw, with W, Jalynaw.
And Will J. Wood. Thank you all once again, and we'll see you next week.
I'm off to make a fresh corpse.
What happened in here?